Hi there, and welcome to Wine Searcher. Today I thought I'd take a look at a classic Cru Classé from the Medoc in Bordeaux. So we have a bottle of, or a half bottle in fact, of Leoville Barton 2017. So this is a deuxième cru, a second growth from Saint-Julien, and from a historic estate, as many of them are I guess. Originally, this portion of the Leoville estate was broken off during the French Revolution, and in 1821 the Barton family purchased Langoa Barton, the property next door, and this portion of the Leoville estate. In the late 20th century and into the 21st, the estate's been run by Anthony Barton, who unfortunately passed away last year, passing the stewardship on to his daughter Lillian and her children. Leoville Barton has gained a reputation for being great value, very correct, long aging, very typically Saint-Julien in style. As a wine, I mean, the vineyards are about 75% planted with Cabernet Sauvignon, with the balance in Merlot and a little tiny bit of Cabernet Franc. And often the Cabernet percentage exceeds that actually in the wine when it is finally assembled. Position-wise, Leoville Barton is slightly to the is one of those chateaux that is closer to the river, which is where all the best estates in Saint-Julien and Pauillac are. It's on a gentle hillside of classic Gironde gravel, deep gravel, well drained, suits Cabernet Sauvignon very well. Cabernet doesn't like the ground being too cold, too wet, otherwise it's too late to ripen. The wine undergoes low yielding, undergoes great selection. In the winery, it's fermented in oak fermenters. It'll spend about 3 weeks macerating, so there's a lot of extraction going on once the fermentation's completed to pull tannins from the pips and the skins that are left in the vessels. Then the wine ages in a portion of new oak, probably up to about 60% new oak, for somewhere between 16 and 18 months. So very classic sort of production for a claret of this style and quality. So looking at the wine, looking at it first of all in terms of colour, it has a deep colour. It's not a deep black sort of colour. It's predominantly ruby, but with some real sort of purple hues at the rim. It holds its colour well to the rim. It's not opaque, although it's certainly heading that way. It throws reasonable legs in the glass, but nothing that particularly stands out. Smelling it, it's very correct. The predominant aromas are of graphite and dust, but they're over a core of fruit, and that fruit, I guess, is black fruit. It's that classic Cabernet Sauvignon cassis aroma, and then behind that there's a sort of a plummy red fruit. Now, as I say, the vineyards here are about 75% Cabernet Sauvignon. My understanding is that this wine is 93% Cabernet Sauvignon, with the balance, the 7% is Merlot. So that 7% of Merlot on the aromas is showing quite vividly at this stage. All this information is available, by the way, on the Wine Searcher website under the tabs that you can see from the find page. So, smelling the wine, as I say, it's got that lovely sort of cedary, perhaps graphite, over the fruit, and then at the end, also coming from the oak, there are slight notes of, say, cinnamon spice. Not standing out particularly, but very well integrated. Tasting the wine. The wine has a lovely freshness. It's got a heck of a lot of very, very fine and very well integrated tannins. They certainly don't come across as supple, and yet at the same time there's such a core of dark fruit that and good fresh acidity that they're not astringent, and they're not sort of sucking the life out of the fruit and leaving my mouth drying. Flavours are very long, they're very fine. Let's describe those flavours. It's predominantly a black fruit. I suppose it's cassis, but it's not sort of bursting, vivid, blackcurranty cassis. Again, it's overlaid with those sort of graphite and well integrated cedar notes, but also there's a sort of a black plum, bullace, damson, those sorts of notes in there. The wine is, I suppose, it's slightly fuller than medium bodied, but it's not a big, huge wine. Alcohol-wise, it's about 13%. The alcohol doesn't intrude. The finish is long, and it's a sort of a combination of that graphite again and that sort of cassisi black fruit. I mean, 2017 was a reasonably good vintage. But some properties excelled in Saint-Julien, and it tended to be those properties that were that bit closer to the river, got that little extra warming influence, and didn't suffer as much from the cold during the winter. Maybe just started ripening that little bit earlier. I think this is a wonderfully correct wine. Its freshness leaves it lovely and long, and it's got that structure that's so well integrated, a core of fruit and plentiful, dense but incredibly fine tannins. I don't think this is showing half its potential. It's showing its potential. It's not showing half of what it will, given another 5 or 10 years, and allowing that fruit to open up. As I say, it has the acidity and the structure to age, so I think this could be a spectacular wine with time. Just to put it in context, Leoville Barton. You'll find it available from about sort of $70 to $80 US in numerous outlets. So actually, I think a good wine in a not excellent vintage, perhaps a very good value option if you're looking for something good to put down for a few years. Leoville Barton, everybody. Cheers.